She's nervous.
I'm so nervous for this. Why? Hi guys. Hi. Okay, so we're gonna start off this live video by saying thank you to everyone who's joined us in the live chat for what turns out to be. Is this still on me?
Yep.
What turned out to be 2 hours of live chatting. That was really cool. We didn't expect to be on there that whole time, but we just got so caught up in the conversation with everybody. We're really enjoying it. Jordan, what you doing over there?
YouTube Live sanitize. YouTube Live sanitize. Trying to add some comedy to this because I see all these people commenting saying, oh yeah, I'm binging this show on Netflix, this show. So I figure we need to make some more comedic stuff going on.
Stuff.
So, yeah.
Well, hello to Ken in Winnipeg. Let me figure out how to turn this around here. And just to let you guys know, we're going to do a couple questions and comments in the beginning here and then dive into the topic of today's video.
While we let some people get on.
And then we'll answer some more at the end. So if it seems like we're ignoring you, we are. But not on purpose. So let's see. Oh, man. Hello, Joey in Los Angeles. Michael says, stay safe. We are doing our best. We hope everybody is staying safe as well. Staying safe and healthy. Hello, Vlad in Canada. Watching from, let's see, Denise is watching from Ecuador. Oh, very cool. Hello, Chris in Myrtle Beach.
All right, let me take this from you.
You have longer arms.
Do you know if Top Chat is on right now, or is this live chat? How do I? Here's the chat.
Don't.
Top chat.
Live chat. Do you want to do live chat?
No, then it just scrolls by way too fast.
Okay, we're doing our best with this. This is only our second live video ever on YouTube, and last time we were completely overwhelmed with the speed that the comments were going. We really, really love and appreciate your guys' comments and questions, but it was very hard to see them all like whirring by as if we were looking out of a car window and seeing them all rush past like many billboards in a row.
All right. I'm looking for some questions to pop up.
Hi, Randy and Ahihi. Good to see you here. Thank you for
Randall.
joining. Randall.
Oh, but it was...
Randy.
Oh, yeah, it was.
Slow the chat down, Christine says. If we knew how. Honestly,
you can do it on your end by clicking Top Chat instead of All Chat or Live Chat. Then you'll get fewer comments up there, but it'll just be hiding some people's comments.
Yeah, so let us know where you guys are checking in from. How are you doing? What are you doing? This is day number 15 of our self-imposed quarantine. We decided to do that once we got back from the US, and we have remained in this apartment to our dismay and boredom.
Raphael asks, do we have toilet paper? Yes, we do.
We didn't at first because if you guys didn't see the last live video, we were talking about how our lease was ending at the end of April and we were planning on moving on and continuing our travels. So we were in a position where we were trying to use everything we owned up. All of our food, all of our toilet paper, all of our shampoo and conditioner. So, as you might imagine, we put ourselves in the absolute worst possible position for having to quarantine.
Yep.
Because we had nothing.
So we had to go shopping.
So we had to go to Costco and to some stores and get what we could, and then we've been quarantining ever since.
Someone else asked, where's Laska?
Laska!
There she is.
Hi, Laska. She's tie-tie.
I'm sure after a little bit of us being on this video and not paying any attention to her, she'll want to play with us.
That's what happened last time. And that seems to happen every time. But she's probably very confused. We're just talking a lot right now to something that we're holding out in front of us. So it must be time to play. We gotta play it. They're bored. They're talking a lot. Mom and Dad are being weird.
Jake asked, have you guys gained any weight? Are you calling us fat?
I don't think so. Actually,
No.
I think I've lost weight since this. We do go out once a day for a WALK. We can't say that word around Laska because she knows it. With Laska, and that's, we have to take her to go to the bathroom outside and she needs exercise, but we take all the back roads that we can. So I think we're actually doing more WALKing than we normally would in Puerto Morelos.
And we're probably eating healthier too because we're eating at home.
Making all of our meals here. Although I have been doing quite a lot of snacking. And somebody said that I was glowing in the last live video, and honestly, I don't know how to take those type of comments. Like, are you calling me fat, or does my skin just look really nice? I don't know.
They're calling you pregnant.
Yeah. But I'm not, so.
Thank you, Neil, for a super chat. On our last live video, we scrolled through all the comments, read through all the comments after the video was over because they were just going by way too fast during the live video. And we had quite a few people asking, what's a super chat? Well, under the chat box, there's a $sign. And if you click that, you can either choose, I think, super chat or super sticker. And if you, basically, you can pay money to have your comment be more visible.
More visible. So it looks like 3 or 4 times the size of the rest of the comments, and it also stays at the top for us to see. It's also just another way to give back if you appreciate the videos that we put out and the content that we do. So that is what that is. Do you think we should dive into the topic of today?
Yeah, let's do it.
So we've had...
one more
Okay.
question. Thank you for the super chat, Tamara. Is the whole hashtag stay at home, or is the whole area on crap? I just
We
did
lost
something.
it.
Okay.
Is a whole area on hashtag stay at home or just certain areas? I'm guessing you're talking about Mexico probably, and as far as we know, there are not that many places that have been mandated for people to stay at home. I believe Jalisco did for 5 days.
Yeah, but it
But
seems like.
that's-
Sorry, go
No,
ahead.
it's okay.
It seems like as time goes on, the more and more people are pushing that.
Weird. No one told us to do it. We decided that would be the best course of action after we visited the U.S. And I think more specifically, we were worried about when we had gone to Vegas. But that's actually sort of what we're going to be talking about today. So why don't we just dive into it?
Yeah, thank you for the super chats, Kay Jones, and it disappeared on me again. And was
What
it
are you-
Lisa?
We're doing this on the phone, by the way,
Yeah.
as well. So it's like the screen is small, the comments are very small. So please bear with us, you guys.
All right,
Sorry.
let's get into the topic of this video. I'm hot though. I need to turn this down.
Okay, so basically the backstory leading up to why we decided to ride this out in Mexico versus staying in the US, we had planned about 6 or maybe 7 months ago, we had planned a trip to Phoenix. So that was all set in stone before any of this virus thing had like really taken hold
Yeah.
in the US or anywhere like close to home for us.
We've planned a lot of our travel where we fly somewhere way in advance, pretty much based on when flight prices are cheaper. And this time, it happened to be that flights from Cancun to Phoenix were about half the price they normally are, so we booked it a long time ago.
Because I like seeing my family. I've grown up around my family and been very close with my family since I was little, so that's something I really miss of like while we're traveling in Mexico and across the world is just spending time with my family. So we take those opportunities when we can. So we were there and spent about a week with everyone, and then we had also already planned to go to Las Vegas for a few days during that Phoenix trip. When we were there, though, we literally saw the strip start closing, and massive changes happening right before our eyes.
Yeah, it was crazy. This is a place that didn't even shut down during 9/11 or after 9/11.
So, and this is one of the biggest global tourist attractions. So to see that type of a place start implementing these changes was a huge wake-up call that we should probably be taking this more seriously ourselves. We released a video there on the day that we were leaving Vegas, and just in that one day alone, it was like sports games and championships and things were
Canceled.
Concerts and
All kinds of events were being
yeah.
canceled, and they had just announced that they were restricting travel from Europe to the U.S.
So we were getting pretty worried. We went back to Phoenix, and within a day, we had to basically make a decision. Are we okay staying here for the last like 5 or 6 days of this trip in Phoenix, or should we go back to Mexico? Because there was a very serious chance of not getting back to Mexico before the borders closed.
Yeah, and a couple other things that I was thinking of at the time. I'm like, okay, so I think the U.S.-Mexico border closing is imminent. I just don't know when it's going to happen.
Yeah, not if, but when. It seemed like.
And also, I think plane travel is going to be grounded, but I don't know when. So
Thankfully, we were far ahead of, well, not far, I wouldn't say that it was like we had weeks left, but
yeah,
as it turns out, there was maybe about a week more after we came back to Mexico before the border, there was a mutual agreement between the U.S. and Mexico president to stop non-essential travel between the countries, and planes, flights were grounded and not many airlines were flying anymore. But what else? So we're in Phoenix on a Friday.
Yeah, but should we get into why we chose to ride this out in Mexico?
Yeah, well, so essentially, if you haven't heard our story, we were there. We flew back from Vegas on a Thursday, made the decision on a Friday, flew out early Saturday morning.
Yeah,
So
we
it
had
was like
changed
a
our flights.
Huge. It was a whirlwind of like travel and getting back and changing everything, and sort of like all of our plans got turned up on their head. But we did make it back to Mexico, and that's among all of this is when we decided a self-quarantine would be a good idea, because you can be asymptomatic for 2 weeks and still be spreading it to people, and we did not want to be giving it, like, we feel like our health is okay, we could get past it, we could get through it, but other people might not be so lucky, and we don't want to be the spreaders of it and putting someone else in that type of a position. So, okay, fast forward to Mexico. We're back.
All right, but we came back to Mexico, but the title of this video is why we decided to ride it out in Mexico and not in the U.S., and that's what we wanted to dive into here. And you have the list on your phone of the reasons why. That we had talked about this, thought about this quite a bit. Like, we thought this was going to last quite a while, and I'm a numbers guy, so I was running the numbers of like how fast this was going to spread and things like that.
Yeah, so first of all, we saw this happen in the U.S. just in the brief time that we were there. The shelves started to become very bare. So from where we're sitting, it's like because we had not prepared, we don't have a house in the U.S. or anything, we don't live there, we had nothing. So we wouldn't have been able to get any of the things that we needed, like food or cleaning supplies or toilet paper, freaking toilet paper.
We could have stayed with your family in Phoenix, or we could have flown to Missouri and stayed with some of my family, but and they would have some supplies at their disposal, but it was all sold out in the stores.
So, but we knew, well, we had a pretty good idea that panic buying had not really set in yet in Mexico, so we would be able to get the things that we needed here, and we did. So that was great.
But it was interesting though. We flew back on a Saturday, got back Saturday night, went to Costco soon after it opened on Sunday morning, and when we got there, there were pallets upon pallets of toilet paper. An hour later, all gone.
However, we did, in retrospect, this was on the 15th of March. That's payday for everyone.
Yeah, for a lot of people.
Most people in Mexico. So that would have been a day that everyone would be going shopping anyway, and like now they have the money to get these things. So I think it seemed a little bit more panicky there at Costco that day than
it would have been.
Would have been if it wasn't the 15th.
Yeah.
But still, we were glad that we came back when we did, because we were able to get what we needed before things started flying off the shelves here. Another thing on those same lines is that food and supplies are more affordable here in Mexico. So it was like, I guess you could say an investment a little bit to get a month's worth of food in one shopping run, or to be preparing for a month out, but we are much more able to do that here in Mexico than we are in the U.S., where it costs far more for all those
Yeah, and to be clear, if you're shopping at Costco, the prices are going to be about the same, whether you're in Mexico or the U.S. But if you're going to a produce market or buying things that are made in Mexico, then it's quite a bit cheaper.
And how about being hospitalized, potentially?
Oh, yeah. So we're like, if we were to get this virus, would we rather be in the U.S. or Mexico? And my thinking is Mexico for sure, because if either one of us gets hospitalized in the U.S., this is a disease that puts you in the hospital for a week, 2 weeks, or even longer. So if we were hospitalized in the U.S., we're going bankrupt.
Even just one of us, because it's so expensive. I mean, just one visit to the ER, just the visit to the ER to get seen and like whatever you might need, have x-rays or whatever it is that you need, that's tens of thousands of dollars potentially.
Yeah.
So
But
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but in Mexico, if we were hospitalized, we're probably gonna be able to afford it. But regardless of where we are, I think the hospitals are going to be overwhelmed. And keep in mind, when we were making this decision to come to Mexico, the numbers of cases in the U.S. were still very small. It was in the hundreds. Now, a couple weeks later, where the U.S. is the leader in the world according to the official case numbers.
Right. So it seems obvious now, like almost of course you would want to go somewhere else where there aren't so many cases. But at the time that we were making these decisions, it was kind of just gathering momentum in a bad direction, and we didn't actually know what it was going to look like in the U.S. like we do now. But why else did we come back? We live in Mexico. I mean, Puerto Morelos is where we've had our home base, as we've called it, that we've been traveling from for over a year now. That's where all of our things are, and thankfully we were able to go on like a month-to-month status with our landlord, and
Yeah, and like we didn't really want to live in the U.S. for an extended period of time, and we thought we might be forced to stay there if plane travel shuts down, borders get closed, things like that. So,
right. Because we don't know how long this is going to last. We don't know how long we're going to have to ride it out, and where we would have to do that with the borders closing. Like if we made the decision to stay in the U.S., we could be unknowingly making a commitment to stay for a year or 2 years. And my health was deteriorating so quickly 2 years ago, back when we were in the U.S. It was like I was dying a little bit more every single day. And then coming to Mexico, by some miracle, whatever it is, the food is more natural, the environment is less polluted, whatever the case may be, less preservatives, whatever, I started to get healthy again. So, I mean, I would never go back to living full-time in the U.S. for that reason alone. And that brings us to the next point.
Before you get to the next point, I just want to say something. Thank you all for the super chats and asking questions and commenting and all that. We're going to finish the topic of this video, and then we're going to come back and make sure we answer all those super chats and then get to some of your questions as well.
Yeah, so hold on to those. Feel free to keep commenting. We'll try to get to questions when we can, but just know that we're not ignoring anyone individually for any reason. So the next reason why we wanted to be in Mexico and not the U.S. during all of this is because we're concerned about there potentially being mandatory vaccines in the U.S. And the big disclaimer here...
Whoa. There goes all our subscribers.
I know. That's why big disclaimer here. Neither Jordan nor I are pro or anti-vaccine.
You can say your position. I would like to say my position on this one.
I thought we were on the same page. Go ahead.
No, I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm anti-forced vaccine. I think vaccines do a lot of good things for this world, but I think if they're forcing vaccines on you, if a vaccine is good for you, it should be optional, because if it's good for you, like, you're going to get it. But if they're forcing vaccines, then I think they might have another agenda. So that's my position. You can say your position.
So it's not like vaccines are inherently bad, but yes, I fully agree with that. When it becomes mandatory, you have to start asking yourself, if this is so good for everyone, shouldn't the logical choice be to get it? Why do they have to force people to get it? So yeah, there's that questions about what the hidden agenda might be.
But what does that have to do with the U.S. versus Mexico? It is that I can see that happening in the U.S., but I don't see that happening in Mexico in the near future.
And that has happened. Like in California, there are mandatory adult vaccines in California. I don't know if any other states are doing this, but I mean, that just seems, it's scary to me. And it hits me personally because I've dealt with mercury toxicity, severe mercury poisoning for a very, very long time. I don't know for sure how I got it, and there's really no way to find that out since there wasn't any clear-cut event. It wasn't like I broke a thermometer and then licked it up off the table or something. But based on the timeline of when my symptoms started, I have strong suspicions that it was due to, in part, perhaps the vaccines that I was forced to get right before going into high school, because my eyes changed from blue to green within a year, and that is a very, very big indicator of mercury poisoning. And there's nothing else.
And also your hair changed, and that's
oh
another
yeah,
indicator.
see how my hair is curly now? It used to be straight, totally straight. So.
And that changed around the same time.
Same time, yeah. So there's that. But I just want to be clear that I'm not telling anyone to get or not to get vaccines, but I agree with you that when it's forced, that's when you should start digging into it a little deeper and kind of looking at what the potential hidden motives are. So what is next that we have? How about the poorest 25% in the U.S. versus the poorest 20%?
Okay, yeah, so if it ever got to the point where food became less available, people do desperate things at desperate times, and this was something I really thought about, and I was thinking, okay, what would the difference be in the behavior of the poorest 25% in Mexico versus the poorest 25% in the US? And thinking about that, like the poorest 25% in Mexico, their transportation is probably a bicycle, and they've been living their whole life working for their next meal. So in a situation where it got really bad and like people didn't have jobs, or people were losing their jobs and couldn't work as much, I see those people handling it a lot better than the poorest 25% in the US, where they have, a lot of them still have cars, a lot of them have smartphones, so I don't feel like they're used to, how can I say that? Because, like, yeah, they're used to living...
The type of poverty that might come because of this?
Yeah, they're used to living paycheck to paycheck, but
But not without, like, luxuries. Because having a car is a luxury, having an iPhone is a luxury, living in a house with air conditioning and power and a flat screen TV and all these things are luxuries, but these people in the US can still be considered poor because they don't have anything in the bank account, they don't have savings, they are living paycheck to paycheck, and maybe not making rent some months, but there's a huge difference between what the poor look like in the US versus what the
poorest 25%.
Poorest 25% in Mexico.
Yeah, so just thinking about how the different societies may act, we could be totally wrong on this, but I think I would rather be in Mexico for that reason.
All right, and then the next, availability of food.
Oh, yeah, so if we're in a place like Phoenix, they don't grow any food in Phoenix. It's
citrus, maybe, but you can't live on that unless you have scurvy that doesn't do you a whole lot of good.
In the Phoenix metropolitan area, there's millions of people, and they grow no food. So if supply chains were cut off for whatever reason, then the grocery store shelves are going to be empty in a couple of days. And when you don't grow your own food, where does that supply come from? It has to come from somewhere. Whereas in Mexico, they grow most of their own food, and there's a wide variety of food. Yes, they grow food in the US, but most of the food that's grown in the US, it comes from these big farms, and it's corn, wheat, soybeans, maybe in certain part of the country, grapes and oranges and some other citrus.
Canola oil, good old canola.
But there's a huge variety of food that's produced in Mexico, and even in this area, there's all kinds of fruit trees and
crops are grown. So the supply chain would probably not be quite as, or not the supply chain, the supply of food would probably not be quite so affected as it would be in the U.S. with that.
And especially since we're in a small town here. Or was that another one on our list?
Yep, that's actually the next one. So why else do we want to stay in Mexico to ride this out and not in the U.S.? Of all the cities we've lived in, Puerto Morelos is the most relaxed small town with chill people. It's just very tranquil, and not a whole lot of crazy stuff happens here normally. Like, I would consider Playa del Carmen like party city, crazy with tourism and everything. Cancun, don't even get me started on Cancun. The vibes there are not great any time of year. I don't think that would be like one of the last places I want to be, but here it's just so relaxed. Even right now, it's like, it's just chill. Nothing's happening. Tourism has left, so it's gotten even more quiet, just like it is in the low season. And I feel safe here, safer than I would in some other cities,
Me too,
like
yeah.
I just mentioned.
I like that it's a chill small town.
And even more chill, like I said, now that even though it's technically high season, tourism is dried up. It's completely gone, which is tragic. And my heart is broken for people whose livelihood just like completely, the rug got pulled right out from under them with basically no warning.
Yeah, it's really hard for a lot of people here because a big portion of the city is working in tourism.
But the great thing is, with Mexico, it's very family oriented and like help your neighbor and let's all come together to get through this. People are resourceful and caring of each other. So, and I don't think that exists at quite the same level in the U.S. I mean, sure, people do try to help out other people and like love your neighbor, help your neighbors out, but I think it's like on a next level in Mexico, and here is no exception.
Yeah, here we don't have the government social programs that they have in the U.S., but people are really coming together and donating to charities and getting food to those who are in need and can't afford it and lost their jobs and things like that. So we're seeing a lot of positive things on that front here as well.
And I believe I lost it. We have one left. No, actually, we said them both. So that's basically why. That's why we're here right now. Of course, there is uncertainty. It's not like we feel like we're immune to getting this virus. I don't feel like nothing can happen here. And it does scare me to think what would happen if people became violent or there was looting or, I mean, could it get so bad that if we needed to go to the hospital, Mexico, it would be prioritizing citizens over travelers? Like, we don't know it. And so in that sense, it's not like we are fearless throughout this whole thing, but for all of these reasons, that's why we feel better about being here.
Yeah, so with all those said, there are some reasons why we would prefer to spend this time in the U.S., but I think our decision is that we think Mexico is going to be a better place to ride it out, for us at least.
So that's basically what we have on this. Let us know what you guys think. Do you think we've made the right decision? I know during this time we've missed a ton of comments, and I've tried to peek over at some of them, a few that I think we've clarified, but I'll just go ahead and clarify again. Where are we and what state are we in? We are in Puerto Morelos in the state of Quintana Roo, which is halfway between Cancun and Playa del Carmen, for those of you who aren't familiar with where that is. Small fishing village, fishing town, or as
a
some
small
people,
drinking village with a fishing problem.
Drinking village with a fishing problem, yep. The unofficial slogan of this place, So now is the time to let us know your questions. I'm going to try to go back up here and first, thank you to Linda for the super chat. We really appreciate it.
You can switch it over. Well, on here we can switch it over to super chat only, so we can go through all the super chats.
Thank you as well to D. And we run Las Vegas. Shout out to Las Vegas. Woo woo.
Oh, for those of you who enjoy our Vegas videos, we made a couple there on our recent trip that we haven't edited or released yet. Would you like to see us release those and edit them as soon as possible, or should we wait for the city to reopen again?
Because we were a little bit worried that maybe it would be like misleading to people that Vegas was just all of a sudden back to normal. Of course, we would put a very clear disclaimer in there saying that we made this before the entire strip had shut down.
Yeah.
But still, let us know. What should we do there?
Joe, thank you for the super chat. He says, "Hi, Maddie and Jordan. Greetings from the Bajío." Where's the Bajío?
Yeah.
Do you know?
I don't think I know.
Awesome to see you're both fine. Alaska as well. I keep hitting things on my phone. Oh no! Oh no!
What?
I accidentally clicked hide user from channel. Oh no.
On who?
On Joe. Like the nicest guy ever.
Oh my gosh, Joe, we are so sorry. We're gonna undo that as soon as this is over. So sorry.
Will you write his name down so we don't forget the spelling?
No, I know.
Okay.
I know what it is.
I'm pressing things on my phone.
What are you doing? Only do this. Swipe, don't click.
Oh my gosh.
You guys, technology is hard. No, it's just hard on a very small phone screen
Yeah.
we're doing this on.
Thank you, Naomi, for the super chat. Wreck-It Ralph says, y'all are pretty. Have a good day.
Tamara
Thank
says,
you.
it turns out masks are essential if you're out and about. It protects you. Oh no, I protect you and you protect me. See this video, and I don't see the video, but we have been watching, or well, you found this guy. He's a virologist, is that right? Expert.
I don't. He's a scientist and has his PhD and that kind of thing.
He has said that if everybody were wearing masks, we could really, really get this under control. I was under the impression, swipe, don't click, for goodness sakes, Jordan. I was under the impression that anybody wearing masks who wasn't sick is more likely to get it, when in actuality, wearing a mask might not 100% prevent you from getting it if somebody else like coughs on you, but it will reduce the viral load. So if someone sneezes in your direction, you have a mask on, you might only absorb whatever, I'm making up a number, but let's say 50% of the particulates, whereas without that, you would get all of them most likely,
Yeah, and
which can really influence the severity of the symptoms and like the way the virus affects you.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't, you clicked again! Swipe, don't click!
Oh,
What are you doing, Jordan?
well, that's. He's still up there, so maybe I didn't hide him, but we'll have to make sure.
You, with this clicking, stop the clicking. I didn't see who, but someone said, you tell him, Maddie. Doing my best.
Steven, thank you for the super chat. He says, vaccines are loaded with heavy metals and unnecessary toxins. Stay away, anti-vaccine. Yeah, so this is obviously a really polarizing topic, and we mentioned our stance on it. And so, yeah. But thank you for the super chat.
And Diego, thank you as well for the super chat. He asked, are you two planning any future trips right now? Heck to the no. We have canceled all of our future travel, literally everything. I'm really sad about it because I was extremely, extremely excited to be going to Chiapas and Oaxaca at the end of April, but that along with all of our other trips that we had planned are either on ice, meaning we're just gonna wait until the very last minute to see if it would be okay to go, but
Yeah.
we're not traveling. Absolutely not.
We still have one that we haven't canceled, and that's in June, so we're waiting to see how that plays out. Mark, thank you for the super chat. He says, love you guys, stay safe. From Mark, Jen, and Bree.
Thank you guys. Really appreciate that. Hope you're staying safe too. We really hope everyone that's watching is healthy and happy and staying well, and hopefully in quarantine so we can really all do our part to stop the spread of this.
Yeah. David said, thank you for the super chat. He says, I travel frequently to Mexico and try to convince my mom we should ride it out in Mexico too. Oh no, I'm just...
Swipe, don't press, Jordan.
Okay.
Swipe.
Wise decision in my opinion. I hope so. We'll see if it's a wise decision at the end. But it's a decision we made.
We're trying to be as informed as we possibly can through all of this. Like, not sitting here saying that what we're doing is the best course of action, but based on everything that we've learned and that we're continuing to try to keep ourselves updated on the situation, this is the best course of action that we feel is the best way to go. Jerry says, or Gary, if there's a baby boom because of this, we're naming them Jordan and Maddie. Wow. There might be a lot of Jordans and Maddies in this world after that.
Oh my gosh.
Can we call them all Tangerinis? Corn Tangerinis? That doesn't make sense. Never mind.
All right.
Another perspective. Oh, I lost it. Dang it. Yep, I'm sorry, you guys. Every time I try to read one, if another one comes in, it scrolls it all to the...
Linda says, Jordan, swipe, don't click.
Brendan, hi Brendan. She says, I agree 100% with your choice to stay in Mexico, stay safe. Is that what you guys have decided? Curious if you're going to write it out in PV or if you're going back. Let me know.
I'll tell you what, we saw a lot of Canadians leaving here and people who live in the U.S. as well. When they were announced they were closing the borders, and when Justin Trudeau came out and said it's time for all Canadians to come home.
I felt like, and they did, it was almost literally like he was like, children, come home. And then Canadians were like, okay, sir, we will.
Well, now we just lost all our Canadian subscribers.
I mean, that's just like a funny mental picture that I have. Please don't hate me. Diego asks, what are you guys doing to kill time? What are we doing? What are you doing?
What am I doing? Well, we work online, so we still have a lot of work to do. But killing time, reading, listening to audiobooks, watching some YouTube, watching some Netflix, things like that.
Mm-hmm. Catching up on all the things we haven't been able to catch up on before, posting live videos that have never before happened on our channel. Brendan says, yes, they're home in PV.
Gerald, thank you for the super chat. He says, thanks for the content. Have a margarita on me.
Ooh.
That will buy us several margaritas here.
So many margaritas. And if they're at home, which they will be for the foreseeable future, we're just going to be getting crazy all the time.
Warthog Travels, thank you for the super chat. He says, or she says, Corona Challenge, lick a toilet seat video?
Is that actually a challenge? I am not licking a toilet seat. That is the worst.
Me either.
No.
I'll hard pass on that.
Nope. Laska might, just because she licks everything, but I don't think I'll be doing that, so. Carete Film Pro says, girl, your man is handsome. Oh, yes, he is, but he is mine. Let's see here. Nitsa says, I think you made the right choice based on the weather, since the weather does not allow the virus to thrive in hotter climate. I don't know that it's completely true that it doesn't, like that it can't be passed or spread or you can't get it in a hotter climate, but I too have heard that hotter and humid doesn't allow it to breed or live on surfaces perhaps quite as long as in other climates. However, it's not actually that hot here right now. This is the cooler time of year, so.
Yeah, but in a month, it'll be a whole lot hotter if it's anything like last year. Tyler asks, are you still selling your t-shirts? Yes, you can find them at tangerinetravels.com.
We should really make some more designs, and we'd be open to any suggestions that you guys have. It was actually like this whole ordeal. I was excited for us to have t-shirts, and many people were requesting them way back, and it took so long to get designs finalized, and we had to change designers, and it was just this whole huge time suck. And that's not a moneymaker for us at all. Basically, the number of people who buy t-shirts just covers our expenses to have Shopify. So we're happy, like we're glad that people want to get them. I do think that we probably need some better designs.
It could be a moneymaker if we were selling more.
It could be, yeah, but it's not right now.
Yeah, but what do you guys think of this? I have a t-shirt idea that it's pretty simple, but just kind of like the places we like going and places we like making videos. Like, I'd rather be in Mexico, or I'd rather be in Vegas, or I'd rather be in this city or that city, things like that.
I like that. I want to do that. Yvonne asked, did Laska fall asleep? Has not been going to. Yeah, oh, she's sleeping right now. She's actually not supposed to be up on the couch because typically we have couch covers.
Yeah.
And they're being washed right now. Laska, Laska, are you sleeping? Are you a little tired, Dougie? She's like, what are you guys doing?
All right, we have some more super chats here that I want to get to.
And Mary says, how about doing a cooking video for us? You got time, right? LOL. Yes, we do have time. We could do a cooking video.
What would you make? What would I make?
What should we make? You guys should let us know, because I don't know. We're limited on the food that we bought, but that has never stopped me before. Back in the days when I was dealing with the worst of the worst with my health issues, I had to be, for health/allergy reasons, gluten-free and vegan, and then slowly but surely more and more foods started giving me reactions, like terrible inflammatory reactions that manifested it on my hands and my skin, my face. So after a while, there was like hardly any foods that I could eat, and I had to be very, very creative with all that, and I did. So it's like bloom where you're planted kind of deal. Just make the best of what you got. Life hands you lemons, and you're allergic, you make limeade.
All right. Thank you, Larry, for the super chat. He says, be safe. You're a fellow slot player at the Mirage.
Oh, nice. Love the Mirage.
no, that says grape leaf, but I was like, grab 3 leaf.
Gong that dog.
Gong on that dog. Gong that bell. But I'm not the one.
The problem is we add the animation in the video, so it's like
Yeah.
if we were to gong something, I don't know what's gonna happen. Maybe we can get Laska to go like, oh.
We had some comments saying, make sure you gong the bell in this live video. You didn't do it at the last one. We totally forgot.
Carl says, please do not listen to people who say it can't survive or spread in hot weather. This is false. I live in Costa Rica. It's here. Panama is worse off. It's all over Central America and Southeast Asia. Yeah, I mean, there's conflicting stuff on that. I know that it's not as if it can't survive in hot or humid weather, but maybe that it spreads more slowly or something. I don't think that should be used as a crutch, though, to think, oh, we live in a humid climate. I can go out and do whatever. Like, we're still quarantining here.
Yeah.
This is day 15, and we don't really plan on coming out of the apartment
I
anytime soon.
I read that it can't survive 135 degrees Fahrenheit for 30 minutes or something like that. So obviously that's really, really hot. But I haven't personally seen the data on most of that.
Miguel asks, or says, knowing that you've lived now in both Mexico and the USA, who has the healthiest people and the best healthcare?
So
Depends on how you look at this, as far as healthiest people, but go ahead and say what you're going to say.
okay, so the average lifespan is 1 year longer in the U.S. versus Mexico. So thinking about that, what probably makes up that difference? Well, I feel like the food is more natural and healthier in Mexico.
Less preservatives, less artificial colors and ingredients, and genetically modified.
And they're cooking a lot of their food fresh. But
and making things fresh, like salsas and sauces and things like that.
but at the same time, Mexicans love their sugar.
And carbs,
yeah.
which could be considered sugar.
Well, sugar is a carb. A carb isn't a sugar.
Okay. Yes.
I think that's how it technically works.
Wait, say that again?
A sugar is a carb. A carb isn't necessarily a sugar.
Carbs always break down into sugars.
Oh, in your body?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So I think it actually
Sure.
does go both ways.
Clearly, we're not doctors. But best healthcare, I've had pretty good. We've had pretty good experiences for the most part for healthcare in Mexico, and it's a whole lot cheaper. I don't know. It's tough to say. The U.S. has more obese people, I think. Mexico.
And what about other types of wellness, or what other types of health, like mental and emotional health, not just physical health? I think people in the U.S. are far more mentally and emotionally unhealthy than people in Mexico are, from what I've seen. And just being around people, you can tell. Like, people in the U.S., so many people are stressed the hell out all the time, just because of like the go lifestyle that so many people have. That's not healthy. That leads to physical unhealthiness as well.
And you don't see that nearly as much in Mexico, unless if you go to some bigger cities, like I think there was more of that in Puebla, there was more of that in Mexico City.
More of what?
Like the go.
Yeah. Mexico City for sure. Oh my gosh, I felt tense there.
But I don't know, that's a tough question.
And Mark says American people are preserved for 1 more year. It's like, if you're eating those preservatives, they're gonna like preserve your insides too. I would not doubt
Carlitos,
that.
thank you for the super chat. He says, "Saludos desde Indiana," or like, what's the translation for saludos again? It's like
Salutation? Like
yeah.
hello, almost?
From Indiana, he says. Do you enjoy meeting fans? Oh, Diego, thank you for the super chat. He says, do you enjoy meeting fans? What's more exciting, meeting local fans from Mexico or foreign fans from outside of Mexico? Well, so yes, to answer your first question, yes, we enjoy meeting people. What's more exciting? Probably whatever we're expecting the least.
Yeah.
So, for example, here in this area that we're at right now, most people who recognize us are visitors. And so when...
Because for the majority of the year, I feel like it's, especially in Puerto Morelos, the visitors can outnumber the locals. There's so many tourists traveling here, so...
But a little while ago, I was paying our water bill, and an employee at the water place came out and started chatting with me because you watch our videos. So that surprises me a lot more, and I would say that's more exciting in
Although,
a case like that.
and I would say I think it's pretty cool to meet someone like say we're in Vegas and we're meeting someone that actually lives in Mexico as well, then it's like, whoa, what are the chances that we would all meet here at this time, or anywhere else that we travel to, like in an airport of somewhere. It's like you said, things that kind of catch us by surprise. It's cool. Warjo says, do you have any board games to kill the time? We have Loteria and cards, decks of cards. That's it though.
Naomi, thank you for the super chat. The question is, when do you guys think this will be over? Do you have an idea of when you will be resuming life as usual? Love the travel content. You guys inspire me. Thank you. I mean, as far as when I think it will be over, I mean, I've seen graphs. There's a pretty good website. It's like, I think it's covidactnow.org.com, something like that. And it's only for the US, but you can click on all 50 of the US states and you can see the projected hospitalizations over time depending on what kind of restrictions the government implements. And so if with no restrictions, most of those charts peak in April. With like social distancing, they peak in May. And then with
and it's a far lower number. Like nothing, it's like pshoom. Social distancing is a little bit more like a hump versus like a, I don't know.
Should we show it? Do you want to?
I could try to pull that up.
Okay.
In the meantime, Homero Ortiz.
I didn't finish that question.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
And then if it was like total lockdown,
Where did you post that, by the way?
it was in our Las Vegas
okay.
Facebook group. And then total lockdown, the chart isn't nearly as high, but it's spread out over a longer period of time. So that kind of tells you when it will peak, but really if people aren't immune to it, if one person in the world has it, this starts all over again. But if we get to a point where there's herd immunity, then it could start to die off. So
here's what it looks like
yeah, so
in Las Vegas.
that's Nevada,
Oh,
but
Nevada.
that red graph is the no action graph. The orange graph is the social distancing graph, and then there's like I think green lines or something below that you can barely see. That's like what would happen if it's on total lockdown.
We'll post this on Facebook after this. How about, or in a comment? Maybe both.
But the question is, how long do I think it will last? The whole world is working on a cure and a vaccine. It's spreading fast, so we'll probably reach herd immunity pretty quickly, at least in the places where they don't do a total lockdown. Your guess is as good as mine. I don't know.
Well,
I think probably at least a few months.
hopefully not. I mean, I've heard some things that it's going to be like a year, so hopefully not that long.
Yeah, they say the fastest a vaccine could be developed is something like 18 months.
Fernando says, I need more tequila to kill virus anxiety. Yes.
Us too.
Yeah, tequila, good mezcal, some wine maybe.
All right. Guy, thank you for the super chat. He says, you see that the anti-vaxxers feel their way, but they can still spread the virus. Right or wrong? Love you guys. Keep up the great work. You see, feel their...
Wait, what are you reading?
Right here. I'm trying to understand this question.
You see that the anti-vaxxers feel their way, but they can still spread the virus,
So
right?
what I gather at is if you don't have that, you don't have those circulating antibodies, you could get the virus and become a carrier and spread it to other people who haven't gotten the vaccine. So, yeah, I don't disagree with that.
Margaret asks, what would it cost if you landed in the hospital with the virus with no health insurance? If you're talking about in the U.S., I have no idea. Like $100,000, $1 million,
Hundreds of thousands
just
for having to stay there for a week or two.
absurd amount. In Mexico, I mean, what we have to compare this to is me getting my breast implants removed and that surgery in Cancun, which was $2,800, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and it was about triple the cost in the U.S.
Uh-huh.
But the thing about those elective procedures.
Electric surgeries.
Elective procedures in the US are a lot cheaper than emergency procedures or going to a doctor for an unplanned visit. So I don't know. The pricing on US hospital stuff is so crazy. And do we already get to Carl's super chat? Please do not listen to people who say can't survive in hot weather. Yeah, we did.
Yes.
Okay.
Margaret also says, love you guys, but why do you think there are less cases in Mexico? I don't think necessarily, well, I do think right now there probably are fewer cases in Mexico, but to me, it seems like they're underreporting and the testing is just not widely available enough or that people can't afford it, so the real numbers are not out.
But the first official case in Mexico came about a month after the first official case in the U.S. But
So you can kind of gauge it that way and look at what history's told us about other countries, which there are plenty of websites that actually do compare what it was like in Italy, for instance, versus how the U.S. has, what's happened in the U.S. and what the numbers look like there. So you can kind of see what the course is going to look like in various countries.
Like Maddie said, testing is not widely available in Mexico. I've read some anecdotal stories about people who are pretty sure that they have it and they're trying to get tested and they can't. And then just the way Mexico as a society is, I think it's going to spread pretty quickly because their transportation when they're going to their job is packed in a van or packed in a bus. They have lots of social gatherings. Mexicans have lots of social gatherings where a whole bunch of people get together. Big extended families live in the same household. So there's a lot of reasons why I think it would spread fast in Mexico. But yeah, I don't believe the official numbers. I don't think they're trying to be, what's the right phrasing? I don't think they're trying to lie about their official numbers or anything like that, but I just don't think that testing is widely available enough and people don't go to the doctor for everything.
I don't know if I agree that they're not intentionally misleading people with that. I mean, I feel like the Mexican president was perhaps in denial or like just hoping that it wouldn't affect Mexico so terribly like it has because Mexico depends on tourism. So cut that off and like the economy and people like they struggle. They're going to be in hard times.
Which has since changed. Now they've changed their tune. Diego, thank you for the super chat. He asks, what YouTube channels do you two watch or follow? So what ones do we watch for fun?
I watch an absurd amount of ASMR. Like that's what I do to relax and calm down. If I'm feeling stressed out or if I want to like relax before going to sleep, I watch so much ASMR. Besides that, for travel channels, I like Jocelyn Janik. I like
Karen Nate.
Karen Nate. I love their videos. You watch quite a bit of
economic stuff
and investing and that type of deal. What else?
I'm
like drawing a blank right now.
We stay pretty busy though, where we don't end up having a lot of time to watch a bunch of channels.
But we try to stay up to date on especially like the travel community and see what other people are doing, where people are going. Thank you, Raymond. I don't think we got to that one. Thank you for the super chat. Help us get us through COVID-19. Thank you.
And GTR Barbarian, thank you for the super chat. It is watching you for the last year inspired me to start planning my early retirement to Mexico. I plan to sell everything except my musical instruments, which would be very expensive there. Stay safe and keep up the good work. That's awesome. I would retire in Mexico if I were at that age. So yeah, I would totally do that decision, and thank you very much for the super chat.
EA Leathers says, saw a lady in Walmart put her finger in her mouth and almost threw up. I probably would too. That's, oh, you guys, oh my god. It's hard. I found that with this, I didn't realize how often I touch my face to try to, like, get my hair out of my face, or, I don't know, like, you just don't think about it, rubbing your nose or whatever when you have an itch, and now I'm like, oh, can't do it.
I love always. Thank you for the super chat. Says, "Hola Tangerine, cuando a la Gloria Tolantongo?" So is that different than Grutas de Tolantongo? Because we did go to Grutas de Tolantongo and we made a video there.
Not very many people saw it, even though we
Yeah.
thought it was a great experience and we really loved it.
But we only can't talk. We were only there for one night, so we didn't really get the full experience. I would love to go back and spend a week there or something.
And when we went, it was freezing.
Oh yeah.
I'm shocked that we didn't get sick on that trip, because it was like in our shower, like, we got a hotel room there, and our shower was this was such irony. The shower was not hot. It would only put out cold water. And it's like, we're sitting next to these natural hot springs and you can't get us some of that hot water? What the heck is this?
It's funny.
But we really liked that trip. I would go back there for sure. Steban says the major symptoms of the virus are loss of flavor and smell plus cough and fever. I have heard that that's one of the earliest signs that you can tell that you have it, is when you lose your sense of smell.
But
So-
and I heard that only a third of cases lose their sense of smell.
Well, so it's, I mean, of course, it's not saying if you still have your sense of smell, you can't get it or you don't have it, but yeah, good point.
And John, thank you for the super chat. And Scott, thank you. He says, "Jordan, you should play the stock market. You seem good at economics." So I do, but I don't do anything in terms of short-term stuff. It's all long-term investing.
Thank you to John. I don't think
I just
that
said
was
it.
John? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I had super chats up on mine, and I just got through all of the backlog.
We're trying to, like, tag team these this time, because last time we were not doing a good job at seeing your guys' comments.
Okay, so we're all caught up on super chats now. I know you've gotten to some other comments that weren't.
So, John says, the president of Mexico says, "Don't worry, be happy," which unfortunately is not going to prevent you from getting this virus or spreading it to others.
I see a comment here saying, "I got my senses back a week later." So I don't see their first comment or their comment before that, but I'm guessing they said they had the virus and ended up getting their senses back after a week.
And sorry, I lost the comments too. This scroll right past. I think, was that Demi? Demi says, "It's true, I caught a fever, then recovered from the fever the next day. Then I had a major headache. That same day I realized I had lost my sense of taste and smell senses." That's
Wow.
so bizarre. I wonder what it is. Like, it's maybe freezing the nerve endings or something. It's like attacking them as it attaches to the nasal walls or something. I don't know.
Do you have any other
Oh.
comments that you've seen?
And then that's
Or
when
any
she
other
said, "I got my
questions?
senses back a week later."
Okay.
I see a lot of comments about corrupt government. I don't know if I want to go down that rabbit hole.
Fly Sky asks, "What are you cooking these days?"
So we bought a lot of broccoli. Like, I don't know why we got so much broccoli.
Yeah.
Fresh broccoli, frozen broccoli, broccoli out the wazoo. So basically every single meal we have, it has broccoli in it, which
Yeah.
is not a bad thing, because cruciferous vegetables are very good for you, very good for digestion, and they have a lot of fiber and nutrients.
And protein.
But yes, what are we making? Broccoli.
we went to Costco and we could buy this giant bag of like pre-cooked broccoli, or was it pre-cooked? I don't know. But anyway, it was something like less than $3, 59 pesos.
Well, and yeah, at that price, it's like, we gotta get all this
So
broccoli.
we bought so much, it's absurd.
And we just want to make sure we have a lot of fresh stuff, because it's easy to get non-perishables like rice and beans, which we have, oh gosh, so much of. We're just gonna be eating rice and beans until the day we die, I think. But
And Fernando says broccoli equals more toilet paper. And thankfully we have plenty of toilet
yeah,
paper.
we have plenty now. Another topic we're not going to dive into. Linda
¿Por qué no?
says, "Maddie just wanted to say, how much healthier you look since surgery. You didn't look sick before. There's just a noticeable difference in your aura, for lack of a better word. Good choice. Thank you so much. I do feel so much better. It's like phenomenal how like it's crazy what I was living with every day, and now that I can see that on the other side, like how much energy I have now. I couldn't believe how much coffee I was drinking, and now if I had that same amount of coffee, I would probably have a legit heart attack. So I feel so much better. I would not go back on that decision at all. I'm sad that I felt at the time that I wanted to or needed to get implants in the first place, but I think this is one of those life lessons, and maybe everything that I went through can help other people to get them taken out and realize what their health issues are, or not get them in the first place. So maybe that was the plan all along, the grand plan.
And thank you, Tony, for the super chat. No question to go along with it, but thank you very much. Can I switch sides with you? My arm
Yeah.
is getting really tired.
Yep.
Oh gosh.
Shiny spider drill.
Alaska, say hi.
You aren't being as playful in this one.
Yeah, why aren't you playing with us?
Eva says, did you go to Iztapa Zihuatanejo?
We have not
No.
been there yet. The only place we've been in the state of Guerrero is Acapulco, which we just went to about a month ago or so.
I lost one. No! Jordan, do you think you have more of a chance of catching the virus with your beard?
What beard?
Maybe with this mane that he has going on. I'm
Yeah,
really- you guys-
there's lots of places for the virus to go right here.
Yeah.
My hair's really long.
I'm trying to convince Jordan that we should do a live video where I cut his hair. Maybe not like a lot of hair gets chopped off, but I just really want to do it. We're bored. It seems like the perfect right amount of entertainment for us and probably for you guys. too.
Disney Adventures with Lou and Jay says, no haircut yet? Laughing cry face. What are you doing it? Maybe next week for a live video. We'll see.
Gabriella says, guys, keep up the great job. Thank you. And thank you to everyone who's been leaving us such nice comments on this video. We're really highlighting the questions here since we didn't get to that many last time, but I'm doing my best to read all of these. And of course, like we did in the last video, we'll go back at the end and read all of them. So whatever you write, just know we will be reading it eventually.
Oh, and by the way, on our video last week, on our live video, we said at the beginning of that we weren't planning on leaving that up on YouTube, and we were going to be taking it down right when it was over. But there was a whole lot of interest in people watching it afterwards,
Yeah.
so we ended up deciding to leave it up, and people have continued watching it.
I did not expect that, really.
No, we didn't.
I thought the appeal of a live video was being able to like see it live and chat live and leave comments and stuff and interact, but I'm glad that people were interested to watch it. So we're thinking the same with this one, that probably we're going to take it down, but I guess we'll all find out. If you're watching this later and seeing this, it's still up. We changed our minds.
We have a question here. How did you two get your perfect teeth?
I had braces and then Invisalign. So these are not very I was not born with these teeth. My
And-
mouth is small. It doesn't want to cooperate.
First of all, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, by the way.
But yeah, I guess I was one of the lucky ones who didn't need any braces or anything like that, and my teeth are still straight. But it is chipped.
This one right there. How did that happen, Jordan? How did you chip your tooth?
At a cenote, I jumped off too high of a platform and chipped my tooth and broke my hand at the same time.
But was it worth it? Do you think it was worth it?
No.
Oh, sad. Going to the cenotes, though, totally worth it. But I don't know if
Gorgeous.
I would trade, like, a chipped tooth to go to one. Like, if that was the proposition, I don't know about that.
Why do I have two comments here saying apples?
Apples?
The same person just keeps writing apples.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay. My two deities says thank you for leaving it up. Well, thank you guys for watching it. In case you missed the last one, we were talking about how within maybe like 4 to 5 days, our views just went in the toilet. Like it was like everything dried up. We would have thought that people would be more inclined to watch YouTube videos, but
Like travel content?
yeah,
too.
especially to get out of the house without getting out of the house kind of thing. But that has not happened. So we really appreciate you guys, like all of those of you who have been binge watching our videos, rewatching old videos, because it's kind of helping us get through this time as ad rates have tanked and our income has basically tanked.
Yeah, ad rates are way down on YouTube, probably because less companies are buying ads right now, and then people are watching way less travel content, it seems like. So we're getting far less views. So between those two things, our YouTube income is down like 75% or something. But fortunately, we still have a job. There's a lot of people who don't, especially around here, where the economy is based on tourism.
So I feel fortunate that we can at least keep working. Like, we can still do things from inside of our apartment and do video ideas that we've been wanting to do, but didn't necessarily fit with the theme of our channel, because right now, it's airport rules. You can do anything. You can sleep anywhere. You can drink at 9 in the morning. You can do whatever you want because you're trapped in the house and no one's gonna know about it, unless of course you put it on YouTube. Disney Adventures with Lou and Jay says, are you going back to Vegas as soon as it's all okay to do so? I would love to. I mean, because I felt like our last Vegas trip was just, it was
Hectic.
and weird and stressful, and there was just the whole virus thing being in the air. I mean, literally and figuratively, like it looming over. It made for a different dynamic than we usually enjoy in Vegas, and then of course stuff was closing down and everything. So yes, we would love to go back when this is all said and done.
Bill asks, how do we join Super Chat? So Super Chat is something you can do by clicking the dollar symbol right below the chat box. And if you want your comment to be more visible, you can pay whatever amount you want in there. And then I think it will lead you through the prompts to do that. And it's just a one-time thing.
Lafc says, quarantine ain't an excuse to drink in the morning, chica. Says who? Says who? I don't see that law in stone anywhere. We haven't been doing any drinking while we've been here because trying to catch up on stuff. I think I usually save like Saturday or Sunday as the have a glass of wine day or mezcal or something.
You have a question. Hey girl, how do you stay in such good shape?
We walk a lot. I mean, WALK a lot. Oh, that's because of sleep. She didn't hear me. Yeah, that's basically it. We do a lot of walking places. Sleeping like a little baby. Someone said that it's a bot saying Apple and stuff.
Oh, yeah, I was on a live video where someone didn't have any moderators and there were a whole bunch of sex bots on there. It was weird.
Well, we have a couple moderators in here, but I'm doing my best to get some of those out of here. But it's pretty hard to read through everything while we're doing this.
Gabriella asks, can you describe your feelings on Teotihuacan going up on the top, please? So we've been to Teotihuacan once, and if you're not familiar with this, it's this huge, expansive thing of pyramids outside of Mexico City. And the one time we went there, I believe it was a weekend and a holiday, and there was actually a line to climb to the top of the Pyramid of the Sun, which is the big pyramid there, I believe.
We asked somebody in that line how long you've been waiting here, and they said they weren't even at the beginning, they weren't even at the front yet to where they could start climbing in. They said they'd been there for 2 hours, and it was like, we don't have time for this or the patience to stand here, so unfortunately we did not go to the top of that one. So we'll have to go back sometime. We did record a little bit of a video there, but that whole trip was pretty hectic, and it was like going from one thing to the next thing to the next thing, so that video never saw the light of day.
We have some more super chats here that we need to get to. IJP sent a super sticker of
It's like a super pear.
A little pear flying.
Super pear. Dun, 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 dun. Did you miss one above here?
No, yes, I
Diego
did.
says, what is your favorite Mexican dish and top 3 places you've had it? Oh my gosh, favorite dish? This is hard.
This is hard. So I really like, for breakfast, I really like huevos motoleños, which I believe is a Yucatecan dish from the state of Yucatan. And I really love Oaxacan mole and tons of other dishes in Oaxaca.
Yeah. Oh, Oaxaca. I don't think I could honestly pick one. I do get enchiladas a lot. Usually enchiladas verdes with green enchiladas with like chicken or egg. But I think it depends on the region that we're in because I like to try to eat the typical food of that region or state or city when we're there.
Uh-huh.
So what we're eating changes a lot depending on where we are.
And I love fish. I love shrimp, coconut shrimp, and then fish. I get Veracruzana style, a la Veracruzana from Veracruz, which comes with like, it's fish with tomatoes and olives and onion. It's really, really good.
So we have from Cuellar. In this stage of your life, is it possible for you to keep a conversation completely in Spanish? I'd say yes, but it depends on the topic because we don't have like extensive vocabulary in like the medical realm, for instance, or like if you wanted to talk about dentistry, I don't think we could do that.
Mm-hmm. And it depends on the person we're talking to and how
yeah.
how well they're enunciating and how fast they're talking. Do you know how to pronounce this name? I'm going through some super chats here.
Mare, maybe?
Husband is asking, do you get Lasca's heartworm meds there in Mexico, or do you have to get them north of the border? No, those are widely available here. So yeah, we can get those here, no problem. And then, oh, and thank you for the super chat, by the way. And Scott, thank you for the super chat as well. You're tied for the high roller of the day.
When all of this dies down and life comes back to normal, please consider having that Isla Mujeres meetup. If you're still in the area, we would love to attend, Scott and Tina.
Yeah, we would love to have that.
We were really gearing up to do that, but this would have been the absolute worst time to encourage everyone to travel. We're actually doing the opposite, telling everybody to stay home like us.
Miranda NYC says, 2 weeks locked up in my apartment. I'm going crazy here in New York. The situation is difficult. Be careful, guys, and be safe. Saludos from New York. And thank you for the super chat. And yeah, that's got to be tough. That's like, I don't know, is that now the epicenter of this whole thing? It's crazy. But stay safe there. And Raymond Barry says, in a super chat, thank you. He says, if you were a Vegas casino owner, how would you approach the reopening of your casino? That's tough. You have to appease the shareholders, but at the same time, you have to make sure everyone is safe and you're not opening yourself up to lawsuits for having people gathering in the same place. Man, I don't know how I would approach that. I would maybe, if I had the cash to survive, try to keep it closed as long as possible, to wait it out and make sure this thing is gone.
But I mean, I feel
don't
like
know.
we have a Las Vegas Facebook group, and there are so many people just dying to go back and hoping that their trips that they have planned can still go on, that they don't have to cancel them because the strip is still closed. I feel like you could just say, we're open, and then people would come because people had to cancel so many trips, and there's just hundreds and thousands and thousands of people who want to go to Vegas all the time.
At the very least, I would probably want to wait until there was some kind of cure, or there was herd immunity. Like a lot of people, or the majority of the population had already gotten it.
Jennifer asks, do you weirdly enjoy the prospect of a 6+ month lockdown? Oh my gosh, no.
Not at all.
No. I am more of an introvert though, so I do enjoy the recharge time at home, but I mean 6 months of not being able to do anything except for taking Laska potty outside? No. Oh gosh, help.
Marshall, thank you for the super chat. The question is, hey guys, what would be your top 3 places in Mexico that you might recommend a couple to move to that is less expensive and less crowded than other places, and are there jobs? So are there jobs in Mexico? So if you're in a place with a lot of foreigners or with a lot of tourists, you might be able to find a job if you know both Spanish and English. But I would say if you're coming to Mexico in search of work, I'd probably suggest trying to start your own business.
Like in rentals, maybe Airbnbs or something.
But the first part of that question was, what would be your top 3 places in Mexico you might recommend a couple to move to that is less expensive and less crowded? So less crowded, that rules out big cities. So
And beach cities as well. Like probably wouldn't recommend Puerto Vallarta or Mazatlan or Cancun or Playa del Carmen, places like that. The very well known tourist attraction type or tourist like cities.
I would recommend here, Puerto Morelos, if you were looking for a beach destination. There's a couple places that are highly recommended that we haven't been to that are closer to the U.S. Ensenada is one, and San Carlos is another. I've heard really good things about both those places. And temperate climate, not too expensive from what I hear. But as for if you get away from the beach, if you're willing to not be by the ocean, loved Tapalpa, loved Oaxaca.
I love Oaxaca. I think if I had to pick one favorite place that we've ever been, it's Oaxaca. I'm always so happy when we go there for so many reasons, and affordability is one of them. It's far lower price than other cities in Mexico, and that's talking about Oaxaca City. If you got outside of Oaxaca City to the small neighboring towns, oh my gosh, everything is so inexpensive.
But we've spent a lot of time in the state of Jalisco, and I like a lot of places there.
Guadalajara.
I love Guadalajara, but that doesn't meet your requirement of being less crowded. That's a big city, so you have to be okay with big city.
Thank
to
you,
be there.
Deborah, for the super sticker I think I saw.
Oh, yes.
Of good luck with a little diggy.
And then we have a couple more here.
M.
Stewart, thank you for the super chat. He says, top 3 places you would retire in Mexico with dogs. So what have been dog-friendly cities we've been to? Can you think of any?
Guadalajara.
Yes, we could go anywhere with Laska there. Like
Yeah,
pretty much
I
any
mean-
restaurant allowed her.
The places that you would want to watch out for are places that have a high stray dog population. Like, we were always a little bit concerned about taking her around Ajijic because there were so many street dogs and you just don't know how they're gonna react. Like, there was this one block that had like 3 or 4 pit bulls all the time.
And they were known to attack
They-
some
they
dogs.
attacked-
and,
yeah.
they've sent some dogs to the ER there because of that. But top places with a dog. Honestly, I think most places are fine for a dog, but I would look into what your personal preferences are, because I feel like most cities are pretty dog friendly.
Madison, it says, I want you guys to relax. You both have such pleasant voices and you speak very well. Your humor, your info, your professionalism are all refreshing. That is so nice. Thank you so much. What a really awesome compliment. Thank you.
Steve, thank you for the super chat. He asks, do you still receive ad revenue if I'm using YouTube Premium? We still receive something. It's not technically ad revenue. We basically, I think YouTube takes 55% of whatever you pay in YouTube Premium each month and divides it amongst all of the channels you watch based on how long you watched each channel.
So the best thing you could do is just watch the entire video. If you ever start a video, watch the whole thing. In general, I mean, we do appreciate the higher retention on videos, like, and we do our best to make them enjoyable to watch the whole time. Like, we try to cut out any little thing that's in a video that we think would bore people, or if we're talking for too long, or different things like that. We do our best to do those little things to make them more engaging to watch.
But something about YouTube Premium that's great for us is sometimes videos are demonetized, where they're not putting very many ads on, or they're showing ads to very few people, if any. But YouTube Premium revenue isn't affected on those videos.
This comment made me laugh. Sophia says, by the way, mister, did you get a nose job? Or, it's gorgeous, been thinking about getting it done.
What?
I think this is funny. She's asking.
What's the question?
She's asking, did you get a nose job? Have you gotten a nose job? I thought that was funny because we've had, I don't know what it is, like people feel compelled to say mean things to us in the comments of the videos sometimes, especially commenting on our appearance. And some comments that have come up are regarding our noses.
And a common one is how gigantic my nose is and that you could fit like an airplane up my nostrils.
So, I mean, and it's like, sometimes however you're holding the camera, it's like, maybe you are looking directly up our noses. We're not doing that on purpose, but...
And then we have that camera that makes our faces and features look bigger that are in the center of the camera.
A fisheye, a little bit of a fisheye effect. So it has a wide angle lens that you can see more, which amplifies some things and shrinks other things. So it's like, but to answer that, have you got a nose job?
Not that I'm aware of.
Not that you're aware of. Wow, like that needed to be clarified.
Diego, another super chat from Diego. Thank you. He says, any plans to return to Michoacan? How do you say that state?
Michoacan?
Michoacan.
Yeah, a little bit more emphasis on the last A.
Michoacan. Maybe Pátzcuaro, he asks. Yeah, I'd love to go back to Morelia and some other places, some of those pueblos mágicos or the magic towns around there, including Pátzcuaro.
From my perspective, there's very few places in Mexico that I wouldn't go back to, or that I feel like are off limits now that I wouldn't want to go back. Even places that we have not liked that much in the beginning, I would give another chance to, like Puerto Vallarta. We did not like it very much, but I would go back because we're different now. We have different perspectives.
We've seen a lot more,
Like, I think we would have fresh eyes on it now. So it's like...
That's something we've talked about, like, that we want to give Puerto Vallarta another chance.
Sophia also asked, would we ever go back to Michoacan? Yeah, I would. Basically everywhere. Is there any place that you wouldn't go back to in Mexico?
I wouldn't be in a hurry to go back to the Heroica Veracruz. But I would like to go to other places in Veracruz. I don't, like, maybe give that place a few years and then go back there, because I feel like it's gone through some tough times, and maybe after giving it some time, I would consider that
like
again.
you said, there's a lot of places in Veracruz that I'd love to go to, like up in the mountains. I do know that I like the coffee, a lot of coffee that comes from Veracruz, so I'm sure I would like it in those mountain towns.
I love the food there. The people were cool.
What's the thing called? The
lechero?
Lecheros. That's so cool how they make coffee, lecheros. If you haven't seen how they do that, go check out our Veracruz video. And
thank you, Emmanuel, for the super chat. No question there, but thank you very much.
No questions asked. I'm just kidding. Wreck-It Ralph says, Jordan, I have a big nose. LOL, no biggie. The wife gives me the business occasionally. What does that mean? Gives you the business? Like makes fun of you for it? Noses are so weird.
One thing I've heard is that your nose grows your entire life, though, so you're going to have to get used to this, because when I'm old, I'm going to have, like, a Pinocchio nose.
I feel like I have a pretty, like, distinguished, that's not the right word, like a protruding nose as well, a flat face, and like...
What are you talking about?
I hate my nose. But I feel like it comes off my face a lot, so same to you. It's going to be like Pinocchioette. Pinocchioette? What's the female version of Pinocchio?
Justin McMaster asked, did you see Jim and Mai's video of trying to get back home from Guatemala? It was crazy what they had to deal with. For those of you who don't know, that's Spanish and Go, the YouTube channel Spanish and Go. We did a collab with them back in Colima.
Comala, Colima. You guys should check out their channel after this if you haven't. They put out videos about making Spanish and then also traveling along the way.
To answer your question, no, I haven't seen that video yet. I saw some updates from them along the way on Instagram, mostly.
Keither, sorry, I don't know how to say that, says there are a lot of bots asking questions. I have no idea how to tell other than some people are using a lot of emojis, which I have a feeling are the bots. But I don't want to be hiding someone or putting someone in a timeout that's just likes emojis, because like my Nana, she uses a ton of emojis. My Auntie Judy, she uses so many emojis. Some people just like emojis. I typically use more than you do. I think that's how earlier in the chat someone was like, by we, it's you, like Maddie did that, or Maddie said that. It was like, how do you know? Probably because I use so many emojis.
It's funny watching your grandma text or seeing her text, because she doesn't use it. She uses a ton of emojis and no vowels. If there's a vowel in a word, she takes it out.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I mean, it's got to be hard to see the screen and type on the tiny screen and everything, so I get it. But yeah, it is a little bit cryptic. Badger says, Maddie has a very cute Nordic nose. Nordic? Maybe that's my roots. I don't actually know. Besides my 25% Mexican, I don't know what the rest I am, other than white and easily sunburnt.
I have to show them something. I'm turning the camera around.
Aww.
Our little angel. Oh,
She woke up.
go back to sleep. Go back to sleep, Laska.
Bill, thank you for the super chat.
The new high roller.
Oh, yes. He says, would love to see a video on travels with Laska, vets, change in diets, etc. She seems to adjust well. Have a couple tacos on me. Thank you for the tacos. As for Laska, we should do a video taking her to the vet. We have recently. We had to take her here in Puerto Morelos because she was getting like a little...
basically blisters on her nose,
mhm.
and like her nose was flaking.
And
But yeah, we had to take her for that.
get her some testing and stuff. So yeah, we should do a video on that. Here it was much easier than it might have been in somewhere else because the vet spoke English. Because that's another circumstance. I think it's really in like the medical category we're very lacking in our vocabulary and knowledge. Although medical words do translate pretty similarly between English and Spanish, so that's nice.
But part of that question was change in diets, or it wasn't really a question, but talking about change in diets for Alaska. When we started traveling through Mexico, we ran out of our food that we were feeding her in the US, and we had to find food to feed her. And basically we were buying whatever dog food we could find from the grocery stores and the little tiendas or the little shops wherever we were at. And she was throwing it all up. It wasn't until we got to Guadalajara and went to Costco and were able to buy her the Kirkland brand dog food that she got back to normal. And we've had her on that ever since.
And that was a thing that you might have seen in our packing video, or like what's in our bags, the video we posted yesterday, which if you haven't seen it yet, maybe you will want to check out after you're watching this. But we had a whole huge bag. Well, or wait, we didn't have it in that. We bought it later. After this, we were planning on going to Chiapas and then Oaxaca, where there would not be a Costco. So it was like, how do we fit like 3-4 months of dog food in our tiny car when one of these bags is the size of a suitcase? And we were having that problem before, so. Oh.
She came closer to us.
Hi, Laska. Are you tired?
Aw.
Jessica says, Hola, how long did it take you both to learn Spanish? I've been trying to teach my husband for years.
We're still learning.
I would say we're at a moderately comfortable conversational level,
So
as long as it doesn't get into too specific of topics, if that makes sense.
it was about 6 months after we moved to Mexico of like practicing every day with people and some studying before coming to Mexico, that when someone asked us, do you speak Spanish? We answered yes.
It's still scary to answer yes because
It's a dangerous proposition.
then people go, oh, perfect, then I'll just talk. They just like rattle stuff off, and it's like, shit. Okay, más o menos, más despacio, por favor.
Did you say más espacio?
Más despacio. Y más espacio. Ahorita más espacio, por favor. Get away from me. For those of you who don't speak Spanish, I said more or less and more slowly, please. Jordan asked, did you say más espacio, which means more space? And I said yes, more space. 6 feet, please.
Right now,
Quarantining
6 feet.
Right now. I wouldn't actually tell that to someone in any other circumstance except for right now.
We've
But
been on here an hour and a half, and we still have 1,100 people watching. That's
thank you,
awesome.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on here with us. Let us know if you're getting bored of this, and then we'll just buzz off. Uh, but on the topic of Spanish, for anybody else who wants to learn Spanish and get to the level that we're at and be comfortable talking and traveling throughout Mexico, the one that we always recommend is called Rocket Languages, and that's what we've been using for a couple years now, and it is the most all-inclusive, most bang for your buck Spanish program that we found. So if you want to try that out, we made a link that will take you right there. It's tangerinespanish.com.
Yeah, we're an affiliate for that company, and that takes you right to our affiliate link.
And
And if you're stuck at home every day,
I was gonna say,
and you're wanting something to do, now's a good time to
start
learn a
learning
language.
Spanish. If not now, then when? Jessica asks, oh no, I just did that one. Jennifer asks, Maddie, are you pregnant? I hope not. I don't think I am though. No, we're not trying. No little tangerinis on the horizon. Tangerine babies. We have one that has 4 paws, furry tail, blue eyes.
Yeah.
Aw, she's in a foxball.
That's our only baby for now.
And hello, Eva from Sholo, Arizona. Thank you for the prayers. Thank you, really appreciate that. Francis says, Maddie, you have a cute nose. Wow, thank you. I've never ever gotten a compliment on my nose before, so I appreciate that.
I think she has a cute nose too.
I just, we're critical of ourselves. We're our biggest critic.
Emmanuel, thank you for the super chat. He says, what's happening with lockdown and curfew? So if you missed it earlier, we're at our home in Puerto Morelos in between Cancun and Playa del Carmen. And right now there's no lockdown here. There's no curfew. There seem to be fewer people out and about. And we were forced to go to immigration the other day, and there were still quite a few people there. About 40% of the people were wearing masks when we were there. Some restaurants have closed, some restaurants are doing delivery only. But it's mostly still business as usual.
Unfortunately, in the sense that that's how it's going to spread.
Mm-hmm.
Got a couple comments about the internet saying the connection is good. Very happy to hear that. As for what we're using, what we have, it's Telmex. Is that right?
We have Telmex fiber optic. So if we're on Wi-Fi, we get about 100 download and 30 or 40 upload. And if we're hardwired to the modem, we get 200 download. So glad to hear the connection's good. Thank you for the super sticker, Cesar. He says, thanks for being you, and it's a pear with a maraca.
Oh, now it's pears this time. This is interesting. I want to know what the options are for these stickers.
I thought it was pears last time.
Was it? Are they always pears? I'm sorry, Natalie. She says none of my questions are being answered. Sorry, we're trying to get to as many as we possibly can. Jeffrey says Laska's in nap mode. Yes, she's like weirdly calm during this video.
Yeah, normally she wants to play. Like we do one of these and we're paying no attention to her. Suddenly it's time to play.
I don't know where this comment went, but someone asked why did we like Oaxaca and said that they didn't like it. I don't think there's anything that I dislike about Oaxaca City. I don't know why, but I love there's so much culture in the food, in the dances and celebrations.
Lots of history there.
History, there's artesanías that I can look at until the cows come home.
She loves colorful things.
I love looking at all those artesanías. You guys probably get so tired of me saying that, but I really do. It brings me so much happiness, and I could just walk in circles and look at it all over and over and over in it.
And there's always something going on in Oaxaca.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and did we say the food?
Food is amazing.
Food is amazing. And mezcal, I didn't really like mezcal until we visited Oaxaca City, and then I started trying more of it and learning more about it, and now I'm a huge mezcal fan.
Diego asks, how do you do the research, or how do you research the places you're going to? Well, this has changed throughout our travels. And that was a super chat. Thank you, by the way. But before, we were looking at Facebook groups, trying to figure out what places we might want to go to. And that was before coming to Mexico. Mexico, and we mapped out like a route that we wanted to take, and eventually we were going to get to Puerto Escondido, Oaxaca, and that's where we thought we might stay because it looked really cool. We still haven't made it there 2 years later because our plans changed, but because we have a YouTube channel, we started getting a lot of recommendations of places to go, so that influenced where we were going a lot. Honestly, most places we go, I feel like we don't really do that much research about.
And I kind of like it that way a little bit. Like, I don't like watching too many videos about a place before we go there, or, I mean, informing ourselves, yes, via like blogs and information about the city, but
videos too. Like,
well, in a sense, but I don't actually like watching too many videos before we go to a place, because then I feel like it influences the way that I feel about it too much, or because if somebody says, like, I hate this place because of this, this, and this, then you're like going into it thinking, well, this place is bad because it has this, this, and this. Whereas there's actually a psychological term for this. It's like social framing or something like that. But it's kind of nice to go to a place and not know everything about it, so you can have those unique discoveries and kind of see it with super fresh eyes and not be influenced by too much. But there is something to be said for doing your homework before and not just like winging it in every aspect, because that's just reckless.
and to research places, I find TripAdvisor pretty helpful, because one way to do that when we do want to know something about it.
Heather says, I love you two in Alaska like family. Yes, do this every day. I'm so happy to keep you on. You're a great company for this granny. Well, thank you for joining us, Heather. Thank you all of you guys for joining us. Doing these live videos has actually been like pretty fun. We weren't really doing them. We had never done them before the quarantine that we put ourselves in on YouTube. We'd done a couple on Facebook, but I've been enjoying it. Like getting to interact with you guys more, like in a more personal sense.
Wreck-It Ralph, thank you for the super sticker. He sent us a rose. Or I shouldn't say he. Ralph, Wreck-It Ralph is a cartoon guy. So.
Ian says, what are you two? I don't know what that means exactly.
Boyfriend, girlfriend?
Yes.
YouTubers?
YouTubers. Couple of shenanigators.
Husky parent?
Yes. Besides that, I don't know, what are we? Maybe we're aliens. I'll never tell.
Boiled Frog, thank you for the super chat. And T Batchful, thank you for the super chat. And the question is, how did y'all navigate the visa system for Mexico? I think the easiest way to do that is using a lawyer. That
100% recommend. But I'm going to take this opportunity to say that I do not, absolutely 100% with all of my being, do not recommend doing anything to do with immigration in Cancun.
No, absolutely not.
It has been the biggest nightmare, enough to make me want to leave Mexico permanently, although we're not going to do that. But go anywhere else. Anywhere else in the country at all to do anything to do with immigration. But there's just so much corruption in Cancun. I just don't do it. Don't do it there.
But first, going through the process, that was in the Lake Chapala area, and we got a lawyer there.
A lawyer.
But we used Spencer, and you can find him at chapalalaw.com. And there's government fees to go through the process, but to get a lawyer, it's, I don't know, $200, $250 in addition to whatever the Mexico government fees are, and I think that's well worth the money, and that was a breeze going through the process there. He made it super easy.
Malia asks, how do I order Tangerine Travels t-shirts? We have all of our t-shirts at tangerinetravels.com. We were talking about this earlier, thinking of adding some more designs or more like options, saying I'd rather be in Mexico or something like that, but maybe if we have any designers on here, you can let us know and we can work together to create some of those. But yeah, tangerinetravels.com.
We got a super chat from Gina. Oh, this is for you. Why don't you read it?
Maddie, if you were single, where would you live and feel safe to walk at night? Love you guys. Thank you. Where would I live by myself? It's actually hard to answer this because we're together so often. I don't even have a perspective on, like, I don't know, don't know what it's like to walk by myself really in any city.
You made one video alone when I was sick, and that was in Guadalajara.
Guadalajara. I think there I would definitely feel safe to walk around. Something that I do notice is when I'm walking by myself, men feel much more free to talk to me and much more frequently too. So it's like with Jordan here, they go, okay, she's taken, and they respect that. But when I'm by myself, it's like the conversations come in like crazy. So, but really I don't have that perspective because we're just together all the time, Jordan and I, so.
We have a few more super chats here. Thank you, Sarisha and T. Batchful. Again, another super chat says, thanks so much. Hubby and I are moving to Mexico. Where do you think you're going? Do you know? KB Photo 100 sent us, is that 10 euros or is that British pounds? I don't know.
Oh, I
But
thought it was
either way, thank you. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the euro side. Mezcal on me. I love Mexico City, culture, food, and people. Can you recommend any other city in Mexico that meets or exceeds the capital's allure? So in terms of number of things to do,
Maybe Guadalajara.
you're
rival?
not going to find a city, I
Yeah.
don't think, with more things to do than Mexico City. But
Because it's just so huge. There's so much.
But you mentioned the people. The people in Aguascalientes we thought were amazing. That everyone was so nice there. And then we later found out after going there that it's literally called La Tierra de la Buena Gente, or the land of good people.
Totally agree.
In terms of culture, Oaxaca is probably the cultural capital of Mexico.
I enjoyed people in Guadalajara as well. I felt like
Yeah.
they were friendly, nice, honest.
Tapatíos, which is what they call
Yeah.
people from
Love our
Guadalajara.
tapatíos.
Yeah, they were awesome too. And there's tons of things to do, lots of history in Guadalajara. One of my favorite cities in Mexico, and it's one that I keep coming back to, a place that I want to spend more time and perhaps live. And then Peter, thank you for the super chat, Peter. Would you recommend a future trip to Oaxaca and Huatulco, or Guadalajara and Puerto Vallarta? We have made 3 trips to Mexico so far and looking to plot the next adventure. So Oaxaca, I assume you mean Oaxaca City and Huatulco?
No, he said.
Oaxaca and
And
Huatulco.
oh, okay. Oaxaca City,
Well,
yeah.
we haven't been to Huatulco, but I mean, I hear it's amazing. Of course, you probably know by now that we love Oaxaca City. But at the same time, I love Guadalajara, and we didn't like Puerto Vallarta when we were there, but that was a long time ago.
Like
and
I said, we would give it another shot.
yeah,
since-
and we're going to. We're going to go back there at some point, and we'll see if our opinion has changed.
yeah,
But
but between the two, I mean,
oh,
it's
that's
like
so hard.
it's like what do you like when you travel? Are you looking for culture and history and
But the thing is, they have one in both of those. They have one beach destination and one place with lots of history and culture. So, like, they have Oaxaca City, and
Yeah,
then
but
Huatulco, and then Puerto Vallarta, and Guadalajara. So,
Guadalajara is more modern, I would say overall. I mean, there's tons of history there, of course. It's a
yeah,
old
that's.
city, but
I suppose.
I think Oaxaca City is much more of that like old culture, what some people might think of as like the roots of Mexico, maybe. But that is a really hard question. So maybe you could give us some more information.
For a place to visit, though, I would probably choose Oaxaca over Guadalajara. Guadalajara is a place where I'd want to live, but for visiting, I don't know if there's that much super interesting stuff. I hate to say that because it's like I don't know. I love the city, and there is a lot to do. So I'm just talking in circles now. I'm sorry, I don't have a better answer for you.
Why don't you move to Dubai or the Middle East in general? It's cheaper than Mexico, and a lot of people speak English.
Dubai cheaper than Mexico, really? I've heard Dubai's expensive. Or maybe when you're saying cheaper than Mexico, you're talking about the Middle East in general.
I don't know much about the Middle East. Like,
I know
to
very-
travel
I know
or
very
to live,
little.
I don't know hardly anything. It's like I wouldn't rule out many places in the world either that we would visit. And in fact, there are a lot of places in the world I want to go, but there's so much of Mexico that I still want to see too. Even places that, even places that we've been that we want to go back to. So we're a little bit more enamored with Mexico than we have excitement about going elsewhere.
We have a couple more super chats. Sarisha asks, will you be in Vegas? Would love to meet y'all. So we have a trip planned mid-June or sometime in June, and we may or may not be there then, depending on how the coronavirus plays out. But yeah, I would love to run into you there. And then Daryl, thank you for the super chats. He says Guadalajara is very cool, and he asks, are we going to Belize? We don't have any plans to go to Belize in the near future, but I mean, I wouldn't rule it out.
Daniel asks, thoughts on Mazatlan? A family member just bought a condo there. I loved Mazatlan. That was like the first place that we went in our travels that I was really like, we need to stay here longer. And we did. We extended our Airbnb rental that we had there for another like week or two, maybe. I forget how long we stayed there, but there's a lot to love about Mazatlan, and we've been so anxious to go back there for so long, but it's like we've kind of just worked our way so far south and east in the country that going back there is now, it's so far away. Someone
The thought of driving anywhere from here
gosh,
is
yeah, it's like, it's a commitment, a real commitment. I saw somebody ask, where are we right now? We're in Puerto Morelos in our apartment. This is a small fishing village between Cancun, Playa del Carmen.
And we were planning on leaving here at the end of April, but since the coronavirus is spreading around right now, we're staying put for the time being. And we got another super chat. It says, vamos a ir a Ciudad de Mexico o Mérida. Y'all's, so that says, come to Mexico City or Mérida. Y'all's videos are so helpful to us. My husband is a citizen of Mexico, so I've been concerned about my own visa requirements so far. If your husband's a citizen, I believe you can get citizenship or at least permanent residency. So you have more options.
Although I have heard,
I'm pretty sure.
I've heard right now, if it's say you have an, I didn't hear the first part of that, but if it's that you have an FMM, they're extending those for a few weeks because of all this, because they don't want people traveling. Yeah. Yeah, there really are a lot of bots in this. I can't keep up with it.
Can you scroll down to the bottom and
That
see?
is the bottom.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm gonna turn on live chat on my here. So if you have any questions, let us know. We've run out of questions to answer. Well, I'm sure we've missed a whole bunch, but.
And maybe we should cut this because your battery is gonna die.
Oh, we can go until we're down at about 10%. I just got a 20% battery notification.
David says, I love Merida except the heat. That was a place that I think we need to give another chance to. Yes, it is super hot and super awful, just like it is here in the summer. Like, oh gosh, it was so miserable. And that's basically why we decided that we needed to continue our travels, is because I'm sick to death of the humidity. And in the summer, it was just miserable.
Something about Merida, when we were there, it was almost Christmas time, it was Christmas time, and Maddie was sad about not being around family for Christmas.
It was my first Christmas ever, well, right? I think it was the first Christmas that I had been away from family ever in my life, and I was not handling it very well. My emotions were everywhere.
But yeah, so you were pretty sad about that, and so that probably affected what we thought of the city. Bill asks, what camera are you using? Right now, I'm using my iPhone 7. This is not the camera we use to film our videos with or anything like that, but yeah. We got a super chat from Humberto Juarez. He says, glad you love Mazatlan. You walked by my house or the house I grew up in several times, and I was super psyched.
Oh my
No
gosh.
way.
That's awesome. So is it in the Golden Zone? That's where we were staying when we were in Mazatlan.
Yeah.
Love that neighborhood.
Zona Dorada.
Sean asked, Jordan, do you miss the snow in Minnesota?
I miss snow. I don't miss cold. But usually those two things come together. But
Yeah.
I like
I was
snow.
gonna say it's hard to have one without the other, isn't it?
Skiing is one of my favorite things in the world. So yeah, I miss that a lot. But I hate cold.
This is an awkward question, but I'll answer it anyway. Carete, hey Maddie, did you get any sagging after removing your breast implants? If so, how do you deal with it, or did you get a breast lift?
Do you want to show them?
No.
Just
Are
kidding.
you kidding me?
Yes.
No, I think I'm very fortunate that I did this at a relatively young age. I'm 28 now, and so I really have had a nice bounce back with massaging and everything. So that's glad about that. And no, I didn't get a lift, and I don't plan on it. I don't think it's necessary. That's not the case for everyone, especially people who went like absurdly large or have had them for years, like decades actually. But that hasn't been the case for me. So.
Robert goes, LOL, that's a different site.
Yeah, not gonna get more into it than that. I do think we've had a lot of requests for me to do a follow-up video on that, and probably people who are considering getting them out themselves or just wanting to know how I'm doing. So perhaps now in quarantine is a good time to do that, to do a little follow-up. And it's been January, February, March, like 3 months, a little over 3 months, or no, probably about 3 months since the surgery at this point.
So I thought I had accidentally hidden Joe from channel, but I see here that he says, Jordan, if Maddie wants to. Jordan.
How about you
So-
show everybody yours, Jordan?
Hopefully I didn't actually end up hiding him. Margaret asked, Jordan, can you explain again why you got a lawyer? Just to make the process easier, we were moving to a new country where we weren't fluent in the language. I know like immigration stuff in the U.S. can be super complicated and take a lot of time, but getting a lawyer for immigration, I think it helped us not only make the process go smoother, but helped us save a lot of trips to immigration from doing the paperwork wrong, messing things up, things like that.
And Umberto says, yes, the Airbnb was a few blocks away from mine. That's so funny. What a
Wow.
small world. Really like that neighborhood. Also, there's this dog that everybody, I don't know if his name is actually this, but
Bimbo?
Bimbo. It feels weird for us to say that because calling someone a bimbo is not a compliment, not something that you would probably call a dog in the U.S., but Bimbo is a brand of bread, and this dog was all white, and he was like the neighborhood escort dog. Like he would walk with you from point
dog
A
was so
to
funny.
point B, like super friendly. We love that dog.
Someone asked, how much is it approximately to get a lawyer for immigration? If you're going through the process for temporary or permanent residency, it depends on the lawyer, but I think it's usually between about 200 to 250 US dollars in addition to whatever fees the Mexico government is charging.
And I saw some people, someone hopping on from Germany, if I am not mistaken, but I lost that comment. And someone from New Zealand. What time is it there? It's got to be late, or is it early? It's like opposite, right?
Oh man, New Zealand. I would guess it's like 2 a.m. New Zealand time.
But hello, Esmeralda in New Zealand, and hello, whoever is hopping on from Germany. I'm sorry, I lost that comment.
Terry asked, can people get across the border right now? I don't know. I haven't looked into it. I heard the border's closed. I don't know if it's still open for necessary travel or something like
Essential
that. Essential travel.
And like, if so, what on earth do they consider essential travel? I'm curious about that. Like, if you just say, I live there and I have no place to stay, is that essential because you're homeless essentially? I don't know. Courtney says, hi Maddie, just watched your recent packing video and used your discount code for the Jade Roller. I love them and my old one broke. Thank you. Yay, I'm happy for you. You got one. That's, I don't know, probably one of my top 3 favorite things that I own.
Diego, he says, saludos desde Puerto Morelos.
Diego.
It's our friend Diego.
Yeah, Trish and Diego, they live here. You've probably seen them, or wait, you guys probably did see them for sure in our Bacalar video. They came to Bacalar with us for my birthday, and he says hello from Puerto Morelos, where we currently
and
are.
that's our friend Trisha's boyfriend. She has My Trish Advisor, and if you're not following her on YouTube, please go subscribe to her and watch some of her videos, because she's, like many people here, works in tourism, and that's how she makes all of her money. And right now, all of her funds have dried up. She lost all of her bookings. So something she's trying to do right now is to get her YouTube channel monetized, and she has enough subscribers, but she still needs more watch time. So if you can, like, go put her videos on autoplay, like, that would be awesome for her to help her get there.
Yes, so My Trish Advisor. Go look it up after the video. Diego says, here it's 1:54 on Sunday, by the way. Yes, thank you, Diego.
Margaret says, warm greetings from Germany.
Oh, is it Margaret? Hi, Margaret from Germany. What time is it there?
Hello, Germany. So I would have a better idea what time it is in Germany. I'm going to guess 6 hours ahead of here. 8 p.m. in Germany. Okay, so I just got a notification that I have 10% battery left. So unfortunately, we're going to have to wrap this up.
And it does seem like the bots are getting a little out of control. Someone asked how
Oh, Trisha is watching too. Cool.
Yay! Hi, Trisha. Yeah, how can we tell that there's bots on? I don't know, because they're asking the same question over and over, and they're using an absurd amount of emojis. But I've been doing my best to put them in timeout. That's the most that we can do, or block them completely. But I don't want to block someone that's just using a lot of emojis. So
Yeah, that might not be a bot.
But anyway, that's totally not the topic of this video. Hope you guys like this. If you haven't already, check out the video we posted yesterday. That's everything that we own after traveling for 2 years, what's left of our possessions.
Yeah, so that might not be a video that's appealing to you, but we have gotten very good feedback on it, saying that, oh, I didn't think I would like this video, but I really enjoyed it. So thank you.
Maybe just give it a chance. We worked really hard on it. But really, we did. But yeah, thank you guys all for hopping on. This has been fun, like, chit-chatting with you in the comments. If we should do this again, you should also let us know in a comment or something. We're considering doing this every Sunday.
Will you take this for a moment?
Okay.
We have to do something important.
Oh, okay. We're doing something very important.
Please subscribe to our channel. We release a video every week, and now we're doing a live video every week. But one more very important thing.
Laska's like, what are you doing to me? I'm taking a nap. Gong! And gong that bell if you want to be notified every time we put out a new video, so you can see this cute little lady and our dumb faces sometimes.
Bye guys, thanks for joining us.